Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kishori Lad. I feel extreme privileged to welcome such an esteemed speaker to be with us today, Miss Manu Wadhwa ji. She has been kind enough to share with us some of her precious time. On behalf of all of us, I welcome you in today's session of Celebrating Change. Let's welcome her with a huge round of applause. Hello, my dear Shalini. Great to have you all here. It's my extreme pleasure and honor to introduce you with Manu Narangji. Manuji is a graduate of the GE Human Resource Leadership Program and started her career as a finance analyst with Tata Unisys. Manuji is an instruction designer and facilitator on variety of leadership and professional skill subjects.
Thank you so much, Kishori.
Chief Human Resource Officer in Sony Pictures. Yes, ma'am. So I would request you, ma'am, to take the panel and then we will have the question answer session.
Thank you so much, Kishori.
Okay, over to you, ma'am. Yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right. That's wonderful. It's really a pleasure to be a part of Udayan Care, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. So I will try my best to give you a perspective or a journey life through of what has made me who I am today. And I will rather have a lot of you asking me questions because I personally believe this is an interactive dialogue. And as much as I will share my learnings, I'm sure I will pick up nuggets of learning from each one of you as well. So, I have been warmly introduced. I will not like to spend my time today in giving you some big yarn about my corporate journey and all the accolades one has, gathered on the way. I would rather like to share with you what my life journey has been and what has made me the person who I am today. Because I strongly believe that all you Shalinis out there, I think this is just the perfect time when you can take learnings from some of us. And as Raga was stating in the previous session, choose the shoes that suit you most comfortably. And those are not the shoes and those are not the characteristics which anybody else should guide for you to make. So it's definitely one of the most privileged moments that all of us are sitting in together to learn from each other. So just taking my journey along while one of the hosts is able to activate my presentation, I belong to a very, humble background. I don't think that is something which you will find many of us who are speaking to you being different. I think what the humble backgrounds do for us is they teach us life's lessons much ahead of time. And they help us value some key propositions which help you become much stronger, become more valuable, and most importantly, be proud of who you are with the times to come. So I belong to a very humble family, as I stated, was born and brought up in Jaipur and grew up in a family where practically in 2 rooms, there was a joint family and we were close to about 15 people living in those 2 rooms. My favorite part of the house, which was rented, was actually my landlord's terrace. And for any of you who understand Hindi, कबूतर खाना होता है और चिकन जहाँ पे मतलब you have मुर्गी खाना and कबूतर खाना, उसकी जो छत होती थी, that was my favorite place because that was the only place I could study with peace. And as a kid, I used to love reading and I used to love, picking up right from comics to Famous Five, to Hardy Boys, to Nancy Drew, to any comics like a Chacha Chaudhary, if you will hand me over, I could read it 5 times. That's something which used to always make me feel excited. But getting even a single comic or a book at hand was a privilege. I was every single day. My school was about 7 kilometers each way, so I would go by bicycle. And on those days, parents did not have so much of a botheration of कि अरे लड़की अकेली साइकिल पे जा रही है. More importantly, it is कि travel का खर्चा बच रहा है. So 14 kilometers of healthy living bicycle ride is what used to help me get my education at that time. And therefore, everything that came along with it, whether it was what the teachers taught me in school or the books I loaned and borrowed, everything became very, very important. And therefore, the value of pushing yourself to do better and better came in early on. I have been very privileged to have parents who actually gave me wings to fly. They never stopped me from saying, ye sahi hai, ye karo, ye mat karo. And that actually gave me freedom of expression to choose what my life is today. And as I was growing up, right from my early days, when I suddenly I was a distinction holder in my class. I was amongst the toppers in my school, let's say in the 10th board. But I came back to my parents and said, "मुझे science नहीं करना है." Because naturally, many parents tell you ना कि distinction आ गया अब तो science का ही कोई field पकड़ो, chemistry पकड़ो या physics, maths, biology, whatever you want to do. But it has to be science because somewhere that's the privileged category. And in my times, that used to be the privileged category. No, there weren't fields like you can become a cinematographer or you can become a camera person or you can be an artist. Those were actually very much not even in existence. So today you stand with that privilege to choose that life for you. So I walked up to my parents after my 10th boards and said, "I don't want to do science. I hate it." And they were looking at me like with shock. Ki, why wouldn't you want to do science? You're so good in studies. I said, that has no correlation in my head. For them, it was a strong correlation. They thought that there's something seriously wrong with me. They took me to the principal's office and the principal tried to cajole me. Finally, the end outcome was I stuck to my ground, which was my first lesson in life, that I need to learn to take ownership of my decision. And my parents said, "You are taking the decision, it's your choice." And I moved into what I strongly felt I liked, which was numbers. And I chose maths and commerce as my preferred field. But that was one of those first moments wherein taking charge of your destiny and also bearing the brunt of what came along with it was taught to me early on. But thanks to my parents, they taught me early on that you choose your decisions and you also bear the brunt of those decisions. Taking the life forward, as I chose my field, it was very important for me to start earning from very early on. And very naturally, as I told you, in a household where I was cycling all the way to school and back, when it came into college, even if the college fees was rupees 500 a month, my parents still definitely had many mouths to feed, and at the same time, my younger kith and kin to take care of. So I started doing a job, and I joined as a branch accountant very early on. I used to get enough money for petrol for my two-wheeler, which my parents were kind enough. And if many of you would remember, and if you don't remember, there used to be a very small two-wheeler called Luna, which was there. And some of people of my age and time will remember it used to be the slimmest electric bicycle which one could have. So to save money for petrol for that and also be able to feed for my college education, I worked in Tata Unisys as a branch accountant. And after doing that for a few years alongside my education, मुझे फिर से एक हल्का सा खुजली हुआ कि नहीं, life is not moving in the direction I want to. And here you have parents who are thinking कि graduation हो जाएगा, after that तो definitely will get her married and life will be on her own after this. But here is another one who comes in and says कि नहीं, अभी कुछ और करना है. I think I would like to pursue my life in humanitarian fields. And humanitarian fields at that time were not very popular. People used to get it possibly more as a last resort of whatever they were doing. But I picked it up out of passion and I said, no, I like to make connections. I like talking to people and making influence in what they do in their careers and how they do it. So my parents once again, put their hands up, somehow managed to agree to my doing higher education in another part of the country, forget about outside of country. And I had to scout for scholarships, get somebody to fund me. I did all of that and finally got myself graduated in human resources. and took my first job with GE in HR. From there, the journey actually was very, very interesting. Well, I was privileged again to basis my personal goals and the resilience which every single time that helped me was able to make an entry into a very big corporation. But sustenance in that big corporation required me to really, really make some very critical choices of my life. I met my husband in college, and we call ourselves soulmates, and we got married right after college. But the most important part in that journey, which came along with my job in GE, was to select between getting settled in a small town or to continue my job in Bangalore. And between my husband and I, again, as I state, that it's the privilege to have an ecosystem which supports you, which supports your preferences, which supports your choices. And it's very important to have that ecosystem to do it for you. My husband and I chose for each of our careers to take priority. And while he was managing his family business in Jabalpur, I took the baton of managing my career based out of Bangalore. So we had a distant marriage for a good 7 years. In this time, my corporation was kind enough to look after me, recognize my hard work, and I did international stints. And after 7 years, when I came back, my back was broken. My husband and I had distant marriage, stint of 7 years, and we said 7 year abhi ho gaya. So we might as well come back and co-locate. So between both the hardships of taking career at hand and managing personal life choices, those years were very, very interesting and tiresome. But when we came back together, again, the call was to co-locate at a place. And this is where I took the next shift of my corporate career, which was literally taking another job with another corporation. The name of the corporation doesn't matter. I think it's the journey which comes along with it. So I joined American Express, and again, in various HR functions, the company bestowed on me, basis my hard work, a lot of responsibilities, which started becoming a lot more geared up towards international roles. So sitting out of India at a point in time, I used to manage multiple markets in HR for American Express. The realization came hitting on me because marriage ho gaya. Ab the second biggest factor which came in is ki now husband and wife are together, so you should definitely be thinking about family. And here we were, people who were literally zestful all about our careers, managing all the tides of our corporate hardships, but still kind of coming in together. And my husband and I, we finally decided, ki chalo, this is the time when we should think about expanding the wings of our family front also. So between my corporate expanding my roles to international borders, I delivered twins in 2011. And there came in my second big twist or third big twist of life, wherein I didn't know how to manage twins alongside doing a job which was 15 to 16 markets. And I walked up to my leader in somewhere 2012, 2011 were when my kids were born. And I walked up to my leader and said, her name was Jyoti. And I said, Jyoti, I don't think I can do it anymore. I'm getting tired. My back is breaking. And I don't think I can handle all of this together. And that's where, again, as I go back, that it's very important to have allies. It's very important to have an ecosystem that supports you. That is the time when she took charge and she said, no, you're not leaving your job. I will make all the possible provisions for you to continue your life and take, your life a little slowly till you know how to handle twins and how to handle one twin here and another twin here. But you're not leaving the job. And I personally took that learning with me so much. Today, any person, specifically a female leader, when they walk up to me and they say they can't do it anymore, I personally challenge their life status and I say, you can do it. Do not completely, get disappointed with that moment in life where you have to drop a ball. Just at that tipping moment when you're about to drop a ball, God will send an angel who will help you to pick that ball up. But just do not leave hope and give up. So my one advice, whichever life stage you are in, as you're seeing my life journeys, do not give hope. continue to be resilient, and somewhere a God's angel will come and help you. So this was my leader, who's a dear friend till today to me, who helped me out at that time. And I not only had the pleasure of being a mother, but I also succeeded at my workplaces thanks to the support of the leader and the ecosystem thereon. As roles kept expanding, one point in 2016 which came in was the next job took me to London or New York. And I again had to take a step back and say, oh my God, अभी इतना टाइम मतलब इंडिया में बैठ करके I have done the job. Now suddenly another role is expanding, and I have twins. My husband has worked hard to co-locate with me from Jabalpur to Delhi. I can't uproot him again to say now come with me to New York, or take my twins when I'll have no support system in those foreign countries. So I took the hard call of choosing between mobility based growth to what's important to me as a person. And for me, I realized it's very important for me to have a family together. So I chose family. And that's when I made another shift to my corporate career, in which another organization came to the aid and said, okay, we have a role for you. Life continued on from there. In that corporate role versus personal roles, kids grew, and so did my purpose driven energy towards what I want to contribute. And that purpose driven energy made me take a shift to what I do today, wherein I passionately look forward to every single day contributing to the livelihoods of what we do at Sony Pictures Networks. But in the journey which I told you, which is literally spanning across close to 35 years between my teenage to now, what has really, really helped me is two mantras. One, never ever chasing what people around me thought was important for me. I always chased my own purpose, and that purpose kept on changing for me. At different points in time, that purpose kept on changing, but that was my purpose. I chose it and I owned it. I failed also many a times. I failed many a times in delivering to my own purpose, but I did not take a step back or blame anybody. I just rose up, I stood up, and I said, tomorrow is going to be a better day. And the second thing which I strongly believed, which I hope all you Shalinis listening out there can do, is I always focused on hard work and excellence, not on shortcuts and not on the fame and not on the so-called limelight which success in short term gives you. So if you choose excellence and if you choose hard work, that is one part of the journey which continues to take you along, and you automatically become somebody whom people can learn from, and in return they can give back their best wishes to you. So that's my life in a very small nugget with the time that we have. And all you Shalinis out there, when you are thinking about your careers, your life, be sure of being clear about what is the purpose and what is the passion that you are running against. If today family is important to you, focus on it. If today getting excellence in what you do in your career is important to you, focus on that. If you think that both are equally important to me and I have the strength to juggle the ball, then make sure you have an ecosystem to support you, but you can do it. Always believe that you can do it. Many people that you will speak around you will give you that confidence. And I have had the privilege of many of those ecosystem friends of mine, not only making a success out of them, but also at the same time coming back and telling me again and again that I can do it. So make sure that your ecosystem consists of people who nurture you, who strengthen your own ability, who affirm your own beliefs that you can do anything. You can be a Muhammad, you can climb Mount Everest, you can be a singer in the night to being an absolutely corporate driven mad horse in the morning, and you can be a mother in the afternoon. You can choose the life that you want, but it's all in your hand. And you have to carve the path and not let anybody else carve your path for you. The road is yours, the journey is yours, the highs are yours, and the lows are yours, and everybody around you is there to cheer you up. So believe in yourself and carve your own path.
Ma'am, I can't hold myself to tell you that I have been following you on social media and I'm one of your biggest fans. And ma'am, you have many more of your fans sitting in the audience today. Let's shower some love, Shalneets.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for introducing yourself and also telling me about what you aspire to do and where you are in your life journeys. I shared a very brief nugget of my life journey. Uh, Firstly, it's so heartening to hear that so many of you are looking forward to taking your life forward in the service of the country in different shapes and forms. Some of you are very actively pursuing armed forces roles, to some of you would like to take advocacy roles, to some of you would like to get into civil services roles. I think it's very heartening to hear that, because our country needs young women like you. Our country needs all you young professionals who can actually, with your bright mind, ideas, bring in the diversity of thinking that we need, bring in the passion that the government needs to be closer to its citizens. So, very, very proud of each one of you. And it also makes me feel happy because I have twin daughters, that they can learn a lot from many of you when you are taking sessions like these in the future, and sharing your life journeys of whether they are struggles to whether they are highs to their lows, because every milestone gives you an opportunity to learn. So, very, very proud of you, and so heartening to hear your backgrounds and your life. We have time with us, and you heard my story. Ask me questions. Ask me questions of what's at the top of your head and what can I answer for you? What can I help you with? Whether it is related to, I want to get into corporate, what are the nuggets to be successful out there, to as a female worker in workforce, what's important to keep in mind, anything that comes to your head. And absolutely feel free to speak your mind in this session.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, Preeti.
Ma'am, we know that HR basic work is for hiring employees, ma'am, but sometimes it is a target-based job, ma'am. So what other options we have, ma'am, for those who want to pursue HR as a career, ma'am?
I would say that in the current times, pursue HR with a lens that you would like to contribute to the business's growth agenda, in the sense that you're joining as a business leader first, and then you're supporting or you're enabling through HR practices. Getting the background education from a key university helps. But what really helps in today's times are two things which the hiring leaders look for, specifically in HR. One, do you come in with enough understanding of the business? And business understanding comes in many a times by just simply reading newspaper, what's happening in the industry, what's happening in the company that you wish to apply for and get in. So understanding of the business thread and what you will be able to contribute as an HR person is very important. The second biggest skill, even if you're looking in for a role in HR, is actually understanding technology and having your experience in technology. Today, almost from the time I started in HR 20 years ago to now, I see 80% of the role I did in the first few years becoming automated. Can you beat it? If I was to literally see that what I did in 2000 to what I see the role today, 80% of it is by technology. So I've had to refresh, re-energize my contribution to the companies I worked in very different facets. So if you are somebody today who is passionate to be a coach to the leaders you work with, who's passionate to make the lives of the employees you work with better by giving them the guidance and giving them the inspiration to do be the best they are in, choose HR. And there, the traditional aspect of payroll management and managing, salaries to managing promotions, those are all automated today. So understanding technology is very, very important in that facet. I hope, Preeti, that answers for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. Now, Prajakta, ask your question.
Hi, Prajakta.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, can you share us uh, what is the biggest challenge you have faced in your life and what you are learning from that?
I can share a corporate challenge and I'll share a personal. In my personal life, very early on, when I was a teenager, I lost a loved one. And that tragedy deeply impacted the way I was as a person. And honestly, it was for the first few years of my life when this incident happened, very difficult for me to even feel that I will ever be able to get out there and do something with me. That was the impact of that tragedy for me personally. Over the years, firstly, this kind of brings back to me the memories of how, again, a support system helps you get out of the most vulnerable scenarios you are in. So a set of very, loved ones, the ecosystem helped me get out of that state of depression, that state of completely losing faith and confidence in the world around me helped. The second thing which, this tragedy possibly left a mark on me is nothing is permanent. You may believe that you're breathing right now, but the next moment, you may actually have life just going away from your hands like sand or water. So never ever hold too much grudge, never ever hold too much importance to anything that happens around you or to yourself. हमारे साथ क्या होता है ना, इफ सम ऑफ यू प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, हम लोग अपने आप को बहुत सिग्निफिकेंस देते हैं. वी थिंक दैट वी आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, and therefore everything around us rotates around what's important to me. This tragedy taught me that I'm not that important. I am a single particle of the system of the universe who can just vanish in a puck. Anything can happen to me. And all what I have to do is in every single minute that I live, I have to be relevant to the current times. I have to be possibly helpful to people around me. And most importantly, I have to live my current moment, live it currently. So that's literally been my biggest learning, which life has taught me. And it landed up teaching that lesson to me when I was a teenager, to be honest. And possibly maybe that also gave me the strength to be strong when my husband and I were in a distant marriage for 7 years. When I faced challenges on account of my maternity. My maternity was not easy. It did not come through natural birth. I had to go through treatments to get it done. When challenges came in, when my biggest job of life required me to go to New York, and I said, no, can't do it. My family is important to me. Because I did not attach significance to the moment or that event. It just continued on. I hope, Prajakta, that helps you. The second one, which I will just share, which I hope will be relevant to some of you to hear, is a corporate challenge. And many of you, whether you join a government service or whether you join an armed forces or whether you join a private corporate job, women are generally in minority when it comes to growth. And there are a few reasons why it happens. One, we're very hesitant to ask what's important to us. We're very hesitant to ask for the next job, which we very strongly feel we can do. We're very hesitant to ask for that next salary increment. We're very hesitant to ask what's critical to our life journey. For example, I'm going to get married, I need 3 months break. Now, it's very hesitant factor for a female to ask this. So don't be hesitant is all what I will tell you. Please do not be hesitant. Second, do not believe that only hard work helps. While I gave that to be my first mantra to you, gathering a ecosystem of sponsors and helpers is equally important. So make sure that you gather a ecosystem of supporters, people who truly value you for who you are, because they will come in handy at the right time, at the right moment when that challenge comes. And in a corporate jargon, it is called as networking. But I simply say gather friends around you. And that comes in only when you're authentic, when you work hard, and you possibly showcase your best self to the people around you. So be you, be true. And this would be my nugget in the last 1 minute, which possibly I can give back to all of you. I'm getting blips that it's 1 minute left.
Yes, ma'am. As we do not have enough time, so well, it must have us a lot. I hope many of us are now feeling joyful and content. So I would like to end this program here, and I'm so thankful to Manuji for taking out her valuable time for us from her busy schedule. Thank you so much, Manu ma'am.
Thank you so much to Udayankar, to all you Shalinis for listening to me. Please do keep in touch. There is enough social media connect today that is possible. In any shape and form, I can help you personally, professionally. It'll be my pleasure. Very, very pleased to connect with all of you. Thank you so much.